So we're going to jump right back in. This is part 2 of the Gmail tricks, tips, productivity hacks, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to go through 10 more things that help you be more effective, productive, and efficient in Gmail. Let's jump in. So the first one is importing contacts. You can export and import contacts using Google Contacts. You can see here. My suggestion when you're going to import them is actually to get the right format for your import is to export the current context that you have into a CSV file or a spreadsheet. And then when you upload or input the other data from Hotmail, Yahoo, iCloud, whatever emails or contacts that you're going to import, I suggest that you format them the way that Google Contacts is formatted. That way you can actually add job title, company, other items to your contacts when you pull them in to Gmail. So the easiest way to do that is you'll click on export your files. You can put it in a Google CSV, an Outlook CSV, or a vCard, and that's for iOS contacts. When you export those, it's going to pull that file up. And then I would grab your other contacts, put them in that file, and then re-upload them after you've deleted your current contacts. You don't want to have double contacts. There is a way to eliminate, multiple duplicate contacts, and that's easy to do in Gmail. Here, contacts, you would just click merge and fix, and it will combine some of those contacts if you have those. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing that's really, really helpful is that I've actually just started using in the past couple months is an automatic archive when you send an email. So instead of saying in your inbox, it will automatically archive that email. And the way that you do this is you pull up settings. If you haven't done so yet, I would have 2 windows open. I would have your Gmail tab and I would have your settings tab open. And so when you go into settings, right down here, it's under general, right down here where it says send and archive. And I'll zoom in so you can see right here. I click on now, send an archive button and reply. And that looks a little bit different. So I'm just going to take this and we'll reply to this message. You'll notice here that on the send button, and I'll zoom in down here, you can see the send plus the archive button. So it looks a lot different than the typical send button. I still have the send button here, which has the send in the future option. But this one, when I reply back, it automatically archives the email and it just goes into my read email. So that's number 2 on our list. Number 3 is how to mute messages. I think all of us have worked in a business or a school where there's somebody that just loves to reply all. And if you're in a building that has 2 or 3 of those people, you get inundated with emails as they're going back and forth in the email chain. And so if you have an email that has multiple people on it, or you have the whole organization and people are replying all, it can get pretty big pretty quick. So what you can do is you can actually just mute that conversation. And you do that by coming up to the 3 dots here and then just clicking on mute. That will mute that conversation from your inbox, even though people may be talking about it after the fact. And obviously you would only want to mute that. You can undo this right here. Obviously you would only want to mute that if you're done with that conversation. If you're muting something that's going back on a project, then obviously you're going to miss out on a lot of those things. So I think that was number 3. Number 4 for today is adding emojis to your emails. There's a couple different ways to do this. You can do this straight from Gmail. You can get a extension that will actually have an emoji keyboard that has a lot more options than just the Google native emojis. It just adds a little flair to your Gmail. You don't have to use them, but this is how you would do that. When I compose a new email, down at the bottom underneath our WYSIWYG bar, right here we have this little smiley face. You can insert the icon here, scroll back and forth between different icons that you have here. If I'm using the extension, which I'll link below, I just click on the extension and I can search for unicorn, and when I copy that, it'll automatically put that on my clipboard and I can put that anywhere. The beautiful thing about the emoticon extension is you can put those emojis anywhere, where with just the native Gmail emojis, they can just be put in the subject or in the body of the paragraph or the body of the email. They can't be put anywhere else. So adding labels, we've talked about this in previous videos, but making sure that your labels, if you're working on different projects here, is the idea of having labels that are different colors. And you'll notice that I already have a lot that are red, orange, pink. I don't have a lot of blues or yellows. And part of that is because of my vision. With the yellows, they kind of mix into the white. So I need something that's a little bit darker or brighter that has more contrast so I can see them when it shows up in my inbox. The way that you would manage your labels, again, is you go back to settings. Hopefully you have this window open. Click on labels, and you can see all of your labels here. Now these are the physical labels, or these are the named labels. When you want to change the color, you come over here to a label that you have, click on the three dots, click on label color, and you can actually add a custom color. And so you could do, a red with a black writing, and you can see what that will look like in that. And you could go opposite. We could go black with red writing. And so you can navigate those however you want. This is a new feature. It's come out probably in the past year or so. They've always had labels, but customizing your labels to switch fonts back and forth has not always been that easy. So the next step, number 5, right? Or that was actually number 5. So the next step, number 6, is how to show the maximum number of emails in your inbox, whether you're doing an unread and everything else or a multi-inbox. You would click on settings, go to general, and right here, you'll see the maximum page size. So you have the option of 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, or 100. Depending on how you manage your inbox, there's benefits and problems with both of these. If you're getting hundreds of emails a day, it might be overwhelming to just have the view to see 10 unless your inbox is set up with the 10 most important emails. But if you're getting hundreds of emails a day, I would imagine that more than 10 are important, or you need to kind of clean out your inbox. For me, I don't get hundreds of emails a day depending on the time of year. So I keep mine at 50 because I keep my inbox as a to-do list. And so I never have more than 50 to-do items. Otherwise, I start just knocking those off from the bottom up. And sometimes I'm waiting for those items in my inbox on somebody else to do their side of things, or I'm waiting back on an answer, or we're waiting back on a bid from a company, or just different things like that. So when we talk about maximizing your inbox size, I think that's a personal preference depending on how you manage your inbox, how you manage your workflow, and how you manage your day. As a teacher, right, or as an educator, I only had 20, because I'm working on projects with kids, so I'm getting a ton of stuff from kids, but I only had 20 in my inbox to keep that manageable at the end of the day or the beginning of the day when I checked my email. As a teacher, I did not check my email throughout the day. I would just check it in the morning and the afternoon because I wanted to stay focused on what was happening in my classroom. How to add Gmail notifications to your desktop. So what you can do here is down in General, Desktop Notifications, New Mail Notifications on. You can import important mail notifications on. You can read down here. Now, this is separate from your Mac or your Microsoft or however you're running. You can turn off the notifications on your computer and those won't come through, but you'll still be getting those notifications through Gmail, in the sense of it's still on in Gmail, but turned off on your computer. And you can do that both on a Microsoft and a Mac. And so what that looks like is I actually have mine turned off. It's just a little notification bar that comes across the top. You're familiar with notifications at this point in your life, hopefully, but you can turn those on so that you'll get a little ding. You can have it where it does no sound, visual, and that would be customized in your notifications up here in your computer settings. Gmail Advanced Search, this is something that they're getting much, much better at, and they've added a few things over the past year and a half. When we're in Gmail, just our regular inbox, our search all conversations, we have this little filter now that will give us all of the search options, and we can narrow down on pretty much anything that we want. It can have attachments, it can be from a certain person, it can be in a certain location. So when I'm searching for something, if I wanted to search trash, and let's say it's from Merchant Design and it has an attachment, I can click on search, and I have not actually put any of his emails in the trash, but I can put in all mail inbox. Let's try that. Let's see if I have something from him there. There we go. So I have all of this information, obviously a new email here coming in from Merchant Design. So the great thing about this filter is it saves you minutes when you're looking for old emails. I think I told you I'm at the point now where I've got 40, 50,000 emails plus, and those are all kind of not deleted or in trash, but they're in archive emails, so I can go search through any of those things. If I'm a teacher, I'm looking for a lesson plan that was created 6 or 7 years ago, or something that's been shared with me that I can't find in my drive for whatever reason. You can look through your email because you would have gotten a notification for shared that way. It's just a great way to narrow down what you're looking for. You can also pick specific days, time periods of, if I click from here to there, I can search any email that came in around or near that time, which this came in on June 8th. So it's really, really nice when you have kind of dates in mind that you're looking for something, that you can search that way. So the next thing would be setting up vacation responders. So when you're in settings and you scroll down here to the bottom, setting up a vacation responder is great if you're out for 1 day or 2 weeks. I think it just lets the community know, or the public, or your clients know that you're going to be out of town for a certain length of time. And I've shared this with other people as I've done trainings in our district, is that you don't want to be too specific. You don't want to give too much information of why you're out. I don't think necessarily people care why you're out. They just care that you are out and when you're going to return, and when they can expect that you're going to either answer emails or return phone calls. And so you first set this up as you would want to turn this on. When is the first day of the vacation? Well, it won't let you go in the past. So it would be today, June 21st. Let's say I'm going to be out till the 28th, which is already there. I can put in a subject line there, out of the office until June 28th, 2022. And then I can put a little message in here that just says, I will return all email or whatever, and then put it here. I can actually customize this. I can only send this response to people in my contacts, people within my organization, which is Jordan District, or just everyone. And then when you're done with that, you would click Save Changes. I'm not going to save those because I'm not going out of town. So the last one, number 10, is one of my favorites, and I know that's why I saved it for the end. So let's jump into it. So when I'm going to compose a new email, let's say I want to copy and paste something over from someplace else. So I've grabbed this article from The Atlantic about kids sleeping in and getting more sleep for school. So when I paste this in to the body of the paragraph, it's exactly how I copied and pasted it. So the format's there and everything like that. Now I know I could send the link, so I'm just using this as an example. When I select all and I come down and I remove the formatting, what this does is it takes any sort of formatting that I copied and pasted over, and it puts it in my normal text. You'll see that it's removed the image and it's just pulled the straight text into a Gmail body paragraph that I want to send out. I can click Command Z or undo, and it will go back to the normal setting. I think there's times maybe when we're copying something over from a Google Doc, maybe it's got Roman numerals, maybe it's got hyphens, maybe it's got a bunch of different organizational things, or you're even in a chart and you pull it over and the formatting doesn't quite work in Gmail. You can just click on Remove Formatting. I've got to select it all. Remove Formatting, and then that formatting goes away. You still have all of the text and the information, but it's removed kind of all of those bolds, italics, font size, all of those things that you don't necessarily want when you're sending it straight in an email. When I'm done, if this is something that I'm quoting, I can then just add quotes around it, and you'll see that it puts the quotes here around this portion that I've put quotes in, and you can send that email off without all of the text settings and text structure. Again, to undo that, I would just click Command Z and it's back to the normal. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you're here. You can watch part 1 here. I'm working on part 3, which should be out next week.